Hi, welcome to Co-Creating with Cosmic Holly. Today I'm doing an Astro Luna Tarot read for the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, September 7th, 2025. First, I'm gonna smudge the vibe if I can get it. If I can get my sage lit. There we go. Hello, hello. So it's September 7th, 2025. The full moon is at 15 degrees, 22 minutes Pisces. That means the sun is at Virgo, 15 minutes, 22 degrees. And we also had a blood moon lunar eclipse, which means that the moon looks red. I'm a little late in doing the actual before the reading. I had some things happening today, but you know, this is the vibe for the week, so it's all right. And time is happening all at once anyway. We really want to get into it. Um, so first, I'm going to talk about the moon in general, like I always do. If you set your intentions for the Virgo new moon on, let's see, August 23rd, 2025, then now you may be seeing some of those intentions becoming very clear. Like, I like to use the gardening metaphor. So, like right now, some of those intentions are full bloom and you're making a commitment to them. There's a celebration on the success of things that are happening, or the happening, the show of it right now. Um, Next week there'll be more of like reaping the rewards, but right now is the actual action, the celebration. So this moon is also connected to the Pisces new moon from let's see, I wrote it down. Um March 10th, 2024. So the Pisces new moon from 18 months ago. This is moving in the lunar families, and is the lunar gestation cycle. So a lot of the goals that we make, a lot of the intentions we make take a little bit more time to come to fruition than a month, right? We set intentions each month, and those intentions, right? They're like these little circles, and then we have this bigger arc that's happening, and they flavor that arc, that uh lunar gestation cycle arc that takes 2.25 years to complete, 27 months to complete. Each each month we're setting a new intention with a new moon around it. So, and then they create their own lunar cycles. There's this dance that happens. So I like to look back. What was I doing 18 months ago? I have to look back. I haven't done that yet. March 10th, 2024, Pisces. I was definitely deciding on certain things changing in my life, and really started to put that into motion at that time. And I am definitely reaping some of those benefits. I know that. But some things were happening in my life that I was like, yeah, this has got to change. And I just decided to experiment and put it out there. And certain aspects are changing. Now, um, so now is the time to celebrate. Now is the time to commit to looking at what intentions you put out there 2 weeks ago and what intentions you put out there 18 months ago. The Pisces energy is Pisces moon is like there's a lot of spiritual awareness happening. Pisces is the unseen world. Pisces is it kind of encompasses everything. Pisces energy is very sensitive. It's empathic. We pick up on other people's energy. At this time, it can be really emotional. We have to make sure that the emotions we're feeling are our own, um, because we can pick up on other people's energy. It's a very sensitive moon. So uh, this, full moons are often when there are parties and gatherings, and this is when we make our, if we're going to make like a public declaration, full moon is the time. Um, Pisces is very sensitive, so there's a need to retreat. You can still go out there, but there's a recharge. There's a that has to happen. It's a very introverted experience. It's like an extroverted introvert, which I'd say that I am. I'm, besides doing this, I am a painter and a writer, and those things are very introverted. But I'm also a performer. I'm a musician, and that's really extroverted. And but but like performing and being out there with people, there's sort of a rules of interaction. So you put yourself out there, and then you can, like, there's a retreat that happens. I used to be a waitress when I was younger, a wait person, and I did that for 20 years at least. I was a wait person for a really long time, and I would get my fill of people, basically, East Village waitress, musician, painter, writer, going to school, all of the things. And so hanging out with people was something that was a little hard for me because I needed downtime to recharge, and I was out there all the time. And when you live in the city, you are out there, especially when you start to know people. It's like every 5 feet you're saying hello, which is beautiful. It's really beautiful. But then it's like, you go to get a container of milk, and it takes you 3 hours because you're just saying hi to everyone. Those are some of the best times, I gotta say. Some of the best times in my life. Some of the best memories are just walking out the door and um, saying hi to the whole neighborhood, but then retreating and really having to retreat. So anyway, it's just a little example. This energy of the moon, there's I was talking about spiritual awareness, creative imagination, um, flowing beyond rigid boundaries. So, you know, really, and this is partly why there's a retreat that has to happen, because sometimes we can flow and just keep on flowing. And there's a point where there needs to be an ebb. Otherwise, we can just really go far off. Um, we need There's a lot of compassionate energy. It's mystical energy. This this time of year feels like we're in that, well, I was talking about it last week, the time of year where we're in transition, where it's a mutable sign. Virgo is a mutable sign. We're between the worlds. The veils between the worlds start to get thinner and thinner. We're moving toward Halloween, and that is a thin time as well. So there's a lot of spiritual energy right now. Dreams are really strong. Um, Mystical energy. Like, I've got some clouds behind me that are turning pink. Um, it's a beautiful time of year, and It's dreamy. And there's this need to balance the mystical with the everyday. Um, there's a need to balance self-care, like with self-sacrifice, Pisces, the fish, Jesus, sacrifice, this is, we need to be careful of not giving ourselves away too much. And there are a few astrological transits that are happening this week that we may have experienced some of that, or I know I did. So, okay, today's a full moon now, and I talked about setting intentions, celebrating, and committing to some of the intentions. You set intentions, you don't exactly know how they're going to grow. You're guiding them, and at the same time, you're like giving it up to the cosmos. So things are growing, and some things you might want to weed out. You still have the chance to do that. There's still time to, you know, tidy up the garden and choose what you're going to focus on. Okay. So today was a lunar eclipse, blood moon lunar eclipse. So it's a letting go moon. We may be seeing things in a different way because when the moon goes dark, actually it goes red. So it's called the blood moon. This particular moon goes red, and then it comes back to its white color. We get a different perspective on something or some things. Some secrets may be revealed, some truths may be revealed. We may realize we're giving ourselves away to something or someone that isn't really serving us any longer, and it's time. It's time to let it go, or it leaves. Something in our lives leave. So I'm curious to see what happens. We may want to also look at what was happening 6 months ago. We had the very last, let's see, I wrote this down. We had a solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th, 2025. That was the last Aries Libra axis eclipse happening. So something may have left during that time, and we may be kind of clearing that out now. And we also had a full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. So the Virgo Pisces eclipses started coming in. And that happened on March 14th, 2025. So we might be experiencing echoes of something from that time. We can also think back. Gosh, I didn't do the calculations, but think back to what was going on 8 years ago in either the March or the September times of your life. There may be echoes of that happening because eclipse cycles happen like every 9 years. Okay, 8 or 9 years, 8 and 9 years ago, March and September. What was happening? We might be experiencing echoes of that. So 2016, yes, 2016, 2007, 1998. What was happening? Okay. So we have a couple of other things happening astrologically that I just wanted to bring up because they seem significant. And I brought a couple up last week. One was the Grand Trine in Jupiter with Jupiter in Cancer, North Node in Pisces. That's the eclipse, right? And Lilith, Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio at 18 degrees. Grand trines create ease. Now with I'm feeling like with Jupiter right now, with Jupiter in Cancer, it's like Jupiter in Cancer says, like, look after what you love. Look, like, whatever you nurture thrives. So whatever you're paying attention to is thriving. Right now, I actually have you can't see it, but I have it's called a Jupiter jar, and I burn a candle on it. I placed intentions inside of it. And then every Thursday, which is Jupiter's day, I burn a green candle on it. But the moon is in Pisces, and the original ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. So I thought, I'm going to burn this candle again. So I'm burning a green candle on my Jupiter jar right now, outside of the screen. But there's a lot of Jupiter energy, and Jupiter is saying what you nurture right now is the thing that's going to thrive. So combining that with lunar intentions is a really good idea. And Pisces, Pisces, it's like we have a Pisces eclipse, and then we have this grand trine happening, and Jupiter is part of it. So some people are afraid of eclipses, but with this Jupiter grand trine energy, it's actually, I think, a very auspicious eclipse. What else did I want to say about that? And when I talked about Pisces needing to kind of make sure that you're not that energy where you're not like sacrificing yourself too much, and like, making sure you take time for self-care, that is going to be very important. And then also just directing your love, your devotion toward what it is that you care about, you know? If you're furious about human rights atrocities happening, or you're completely bereft, uh, you know, maybe find a way to nurture the people you love or nurture your community. Somehow put some of your energy into something beautiful. Also, if you can help on a bigger level, that's fantastic. A lot of us maybe can't, but we can help the people we can nurture our communities, we can nurture our gardens, we can nurture animals, we can nurture the trees, we can nurture we can nurture whatever it is that feels important to us. You know, that's what Cancer does. Cancer, a baby's crying, what do? You feed it, right? A child's hungry, you feed the child. Okay. We may have felt a little bit of frustration this week during that grand trine, because we also had Mars move through and square Black Moon Lilith, square the North Node, and then square Jupiter. And now that is moving away, and the squares create tension. It's in Libra though, so maybe we may have felt tension in partnerships, or like how we're partnering with something. Maybe there's like communication that might be a little bit too roundabout, and you're just like get to the point. That can happen. That can happen with Mars and Libra. So Mars and Libra, though, with a square to these water planets are a little bit, the water signs are a little bit it's a little bit more gentle than, say, Mars and Leo or Mars and Scorpio. And Mars will be in Scorpio soon, and it'll be trining Jupiter at some point. Probably in the next month. Okay, the big one I wanted to talk about besides the eclipse, and then we're going to pull cards, is Uranus yesterday on Saturday, September 6th, stationed to go retrograde at two of them actually. 1 degree Gemini. So it's going to go back into Taurus over the next few months, and then next year it'll come back into Gemini for good for a while, for like 7 years. So when Uranus stations, there's an amplification of the energy of Uranus. And I talked about this last week, where there's like disruption that can happen. It's like a lightning strike, or like the tower card in the tarot. Actually, it's actually Mars, but it's still like something explodes, something happens, and it's in Gemini. So it's like maybe with the way someone communicates with you, or it could be it could be any number of things, but it's sort of like in your locale. It depends on where Gemini lands in your chart as well, but there's a disruption. There's some kind of clarity that happens. And it's uncomfortable. And I experienced it yesterday. I experienced it big time yesterday, and I got clarity. And I'm kind of hoping that, that this is, we're going to experience that. We're going to experience we're going to experience disruptions that are going to affect our nervous systems. Uranus is the nervous system. Like, my nervous system was so jangled. I had to sit and like try to calm myself. It took me the whole day. The whole day I was shot. And it it was something that I thought I was it had to do with something where I thought that I was like kind of getting a grasp on it. And then it was kind of like universe was like, oh yeah, you think so? Beep. Here, take that. And it's just like, whoa. And so, everything is for us to learn. And when planets when they go retrograde, which this is setting up, it's retrograde today, it's backing over some points for us to review. And it's also trining Pluto. So there's this possible disruption where we're seeing more, we could be seeing corruption. Again, it could be something that affects our nervous system. It could be communication, could be something it is going to be something in the collective as well as in our personal lives. I really feel that most of us are going to experience something in our personal lives. Okay. Finally, Saturn went retrograde and is now out of Aries and back into Pisces. So again, there's a karma energy with this. There's karma energy with the eclipse as well. And Saturn's going to have us reviewing. And again, if you know how to look at your chart, look at where Pisces is in your chart. But where do you need to strengthen boundaries? Who's crossing like this was a thing with me with Uranus and with Saturn. Like, my boundaries were crossed big time, and it blew up my reality. So it's like where do you need to set boundaries? Where can you become a little less rigid? There are some lessons that we need to learn still through this Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces review, because it's now in retrograde. It's going to be back into Aries in 6 months. So there are going to be some things that we need to like go back over, you know? Yeah. So if you're feeling sensitive, Saturn and Pisces is saying honor that. The moon, the eclipse is saying honor that. Honor that sensitivity as a place to create boundaries and let that sensitivity be a source of strength. We are in a time right now. It feels like an echo of when I was growing up in the 80s, where like empathy and sensitivity was considered a weakness. It's not. It's it's the most it's so important. It's important to be human and to experience our sensitivity, our, you know, our creativity, spiritual searching. Um, this is both for the moon in Pisces, the eclipse in Pisces, and Saturn moving back into Pisces. Like we're gonna get we're gonna be perceiving something very, very big about this area of our life. You know, what's unseen, what are we hiding, what are we shamed about? Um, you know, where do we need clarification? Saturn wants to clarify. The eclipse wants to clarify. We may have been feeling fuzzy about something or just pretending like, I don't want to look at that. And it's like, you gotta look. You gotta look. Um, okay. All right, let's see. So yes, Pisces is also the movies, dreams, deception. You know, we may be getting clarity on where we've been deceived. And Saturn and is like, what do you okay. Um, what are we going to do about it? Right? The what? And then Uranus and Jupiter are going to be the how. Jupiter right now is big love and nurturing, and Uranus is like ding, just kind of shaking things up, shaking up the nervous system. And you know, Gemini is also a very fun sign. So so there might be like, how can you have some fun with this? Right now, while it's stationing though, I personally don't feel like it's very fun, but other people might. Okay, so I've been shuffling the cards, and so we're looking at the full moon in Pisces, lunar eclipse, and yeah, one card jumped out. I've decided instead of doing one card, I kind of like to do a couple, at least a couple. So and a lot of times more than one jumps out like while I'm shuffling, like at once, but not today. Come on, Pisces. Come on, Pisces. So like with Pisces, it's not really like come on, it's more like relax. What do you feel? You know, how does that feel? You know? How far can we go? How far can we go? Saturn wants to create a vessel so that we can go far and we're safe to go far. That Jupiter North Node, Lilith. Lilith is like, she's like, take no shit, is all part of it, all part of this eclipse energy. So it's very watery right now, very delicious. You let it be delicious. Oh my goodness. Okay. I have two cards here. The 10 of Cups is the second card. I said very watery, and the we have the 8 of Pentacles. Cool. All right. So, 8 of Pentacles, day-to-day things, your skill. This could totally be Virgo. Could also be Saturn and Pisces together. And 10 of Cups is like wow, everything's rocking, everything's moving and going. So, here we have this, you know, do your you there's do your ritual, do your everyday ritual things. There's skill, and there is let it be skilled, and let it have devotion, let it be devotion. There's this there's something in your life that you've come to a point where you can say, I am very good at this, and it's my own, and I have created it. And the question is now, am I going to commit to it? Am I going to commit to letting this be a devotional practice? Like, you can get to a point and you're like, I'm good at that, and you just don't really think about it. But this energy with the moon, with the full moon in Pisces, and then also getting this like 10 of Cups, kind of emotional satisfaction. Like, whatever you're committing to right now is going to grow. Whatever you're sending, whatever you are loving right now is growing. In the Rider-Waite deck, this is you see the couple, and there's like children, and there's a rainbow, and it's like these 10 gold cups in the sky. This is alchemy right here. This is like everything is working, it's going. This person is working. So it really is devotion to your craft. Let what you do be what you love. Let what you love be what you do. Both. Let yourself be love, act with love. And those things that are not something worth your time, those things that are not, you know, worth devoting, like whatever you do, whether you realize it or not, is like a ritual, right? If you would do it again and again and again. But if you can slow down and let your days be filled with devotion, you're going to get clarity on what it is that you love. You're going to get clarity on how much love you actually experience in your life, how much emotional satisfaction you experience. And you may find that doing like do an experiment, allow your entire day, just allow everything to be filled with love, allow every action to be filled with love. But this is saying really like your craft, your life, you know, let it be devotion, let it be love. Hmm. I don't think if there's anything else I want to say. If you're having a hard time, if it feels like you're not doing what you love, then you can ask yourself this a few like what if questions that'll get your imagination going. So what if, okay, I'm going to say a few. What if my days are filled with love and devotion? What if I am devoted to the work I do in the world? What if I am devoted to being the creator of my own life? What if I am love? Okay, I'm going to stop there. That reading made me feel a lot better because man, did I have a crazy weekend. Um, so I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you. And if you would like to get a reading from me, go to holly-troy.com/tarot and you can book a reading with me there. Or if you happen to be in the Hudson Valley, you can book a reading with me in person through medicamagica.com. And we can do I call it the classic reading. It's a Celtic cross reading. And the readings last about, well, they say an hour, but let's say it's a therapist's hour, like 50-55 minutes. So I have time to get a glass of water between clients. Um, anyway, holly-troy.com or medicamagica.com, just the way it's spelled. Have a beautiful week. holly-troy.com/tarot. Yeah. Or hollytroy.com/tarot. Either one works. Have a beautiful week. Do what you love. Love what you do. Be what you love, right? Um, see you next week. Peace.